Big business and the government are trying to sow the seeds of dissent among our ranks at a time when we need solidarity.
All right, I got a message for somebody. With this one man and one man only, and he'll never be able to hear this. But I'm gonna make sure that he knows how I feel. And that's Mr. Lionel Barrymore.
Barrymore?
Barrymore.
It's Barrymore, friend.
Barrymore. Mr. Lionel
We just talked about this yesterday.
Barrymore.
Drew's grandpa.
Listen to me, Lionel.
Yes.
And you know what, Drew? You're alive. So guess what? You gotta pay for your granddaddy's sins. You're a fucking piece of shit, and I hate you. I hate you, and I hate the characters you play. I hate everything you fucking stand for. No character has No character has ever succeeded in making me so angry than you, Mr. Potter. So, Lionel, God rest your soul, but I hope you're turning in your grave, you piece of shit. Welcome to the Crown of Canon. This is Brandon.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Frank.
We smoke movies and we talk weed on this podcast.
For sure.
On this what?
Podcast.
Podcast.
I'll take a big rip.
Eat
of
the blunt.
I'll eat it.
Eat it all. We are live
so
in our
good.
ears, but not in yours.
And if you don't like heat, you gotta go.
You gotta get the fuck out.
Can't stay.
It's okay if you've never seen it.
That's fine.
That's fine.
But especially in the year of our Lord, the 25th anniversary of Heat, if you actively dislike it, you're kind of just a piece of shit.
No.
undecided.
If you're listening and you actively dislike it, now you're saying something. You're saying fuck us.
Well, you know,
You trying to
saying
send a
fuck
message?
us?
Huh?
I think when it comes to the subject of today's episode, I might apply that same subject. And I feel like we've done
A little
that to a
bit.
few movies recently.
No,
Yeah,
we were
that's true.
screaming about it
But, man,
after it was over. So.
We did
you-
call out someone randos at Letterboxd on our Twitter.
You reported
in a
people.
fit of rage.
Well, I mean, it was bullshit.
It was bullshit. Did you watch the same movie, you idiot?
Anybody
Yeah, if you-
who thinks this is a bad movie, it's not like get out of here, fuck you. It's like you're just actually dumb. You're
I just don't
stupid
trust
and you're not human.
I don't trust you.
I don't trust like that.
I don't trust like
I don't
that.
trust like that at all.
I know this is too aggressive a way to start an episode for such a lovely
yeah.
movie.
The
It
most
really is a
beautiful movie
wonderful
ever
movie.
made.
No, it feels right. George would be on our side. Hey,
Because,
yeah,
man,
fuck
We got the
those
Jimmy
guys.
Stewart energy here.
Yeah.
When I first watched it, after it was done, I looked at Jesse and I was like, what about Pop? Like, he doesn't get anything? He just gets away? And Jesse was like, that's not what the movie's about, man. The movie's about George. And I was like, I just want George to punch him in the fucking face.
Potter's a footnote.
Yeah.
He's not even there.
My dad's
Fuck
the
him.
richest man you'll ever be, or whatever.
Then
Bigger than him, bigger than everybody.
the second time I watched it, I was like, oh, I get it. He wishes him a Merry Christmas. We don't care.
Yeah.
For context, we here at the Chronic Canon are talking
Yeah.
about It's a Wonderful Life today, specifically because it's Christmas time. And, you know, this is generally regarded as a Christmas movie. I understand the arguments that people like to make that it's not, which I think they're just trying to be different. I think they're just trying to, like, get out of the spirit of the movie. Because, you know, the thing about Christmas is that it's not religious for me, personally. And I don't think it is for anybody here. Unfortunately, it is the birth of Christ.
Well, it isn't.
Unfortunately for maybe the devil.
No,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. Jesus was born in April. It was a tactic that the Christians used to overtake a pagan holiday. Go on.
So
Let's
is
go.
his birthday, like, actually Easter?
Something. Or maybe it's June. It's definitely not fucking Christmas.
Listen, nobody knows when Jesus' birthday was.
We apologize to anybody who is of Christian faith.
No, I don't.
No. We don't
No, we don't.
apologize. You still like Christmas.
I apologize. But the spirit of Christmas, the holiday, the bright time of the season. Well, it's actually more the dark time because it's freezing fucking cold outside, or at least here where we're recording at the Chronic Canon. And it is abysmal in terms of trying to drive, trying to walk around. I got to stay inside all the time. COVID's already keeping me inside as it is, but now I definitely got to stay inside. Though the holiday makes it a little easier to bear. Why? Because of my friends and my family. And actually, I can just combine those two things.
My friendly.
But this film is my favorite film of all time. It is the movie that probably means more to me than any movie in existence, at least that I've seen thus far in this lifetime that I've led. And every time I watch it, it hits me that much harder. And it's just fucking just the most cathartic movie I think I've ever seen. It just, like we talk about in all the best movies of Scorsese and all the other films that we've discussed in this podcast that we love.
This what?
Podcast, Jesus. Apologies, Jesus.
For the second time.
Fuck you for the second time.
All right, here we go.
This movie just sets up all the dominoes and knocks them all down. And it actually literally resets them at the end of the movie and right in front of you. It's too much to handle. It is literally the most overwhelming sense of joy and love that I've ever seen put to screen. It's beautiful. How does this movie hit you two?
Well, I do want to sound like a dog. I do want to say that I kind of get it's not a Christmas movie though. A little
Only
bit.
the last like 20
Only
minutes.
the last,
are
like,
Christmas.
20 minutes.
Not because of even that. I just think like that almost diminishes the movie's quality. It's like you could watch this anytime and it's still the same powerful movie.
I agree.
That's the only way. Like I would say it's my favorite Christmas movie, and I'd say that about Die Hard and Eyes Wide Shut, which are like the fun ones, like whatever. But like they're not where you could watch it anytime. But nobody's gonna watch Miracle on 34th Street in the middle of July, and if you do, or you know someone who does, call the police on them. That person's a serial killer. Surprise.
Christmas in July is a thing.
He's
You
the
should've
guy
said a
from
different
Christmas
month.
Fine,
Evil who
fucking
dresses
May.
up like
Like,
Santa.
God damn it.
I'm sorry. You said it would have been fine.
October.
Yeah.
Somebody's watching A Christmas Story on Halloween.
You're a fucking maniac.
Surprise. Don't trust them.
But what about Black Christmas on Halloween? Because I think that's
Well,
fair.
That's like weird. Like, which one are you?
I think Black Christmas is the kind of movie that I could enjoy anytime throughout
Yeah,
the year. The 1974 version. But
Yeah.
I do think it's better during the holidays.
Same thing. Yeah, and I can get behind that with It's a Wonderful Life. Like it definitely hits harder.
It
'cause
adds to
it's-
the season.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like inseparable cultural association. Just it is a part of it, but I don't think it feels reductive to call it a Christmas movie in my mind.
Like, it's so much more. I understand where
Yeah.
you come from.
Yeah.
I
I
understand
mean,
where
it's
you're
my
both coming
favorite
from.
movie of all time. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So Jesse, as you've already alluded, you've always loved this movie. It's always been important to your family and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember us trying to watch it once when I was a young buck, and I was just laughing through the
I was
opening.
mad.
And I upset Jesse,
I was furious.
and we didn't watch it.
You left like maybe 5 minutes in. I think the spot we got to, because it was like traumatizing for me, was like when Harry goes into the water,
Yeah.
and then he was just it was too much. He was laughing the whole
What?
time.
That was only like, that's
I
not
was
even
like,
5
It
minutes
was
in the movie.
it was the stars.
It was the stars talking.
That's not funny?
I mean, it's
It's like a
I
little
laugh.
goofy.
I laugh.
Goofy,
It's
but he was
goofy.
laughing in like
This is bad.
hilariously bad.
Yeah, I was being
Oh, you were
like,
being
I
a
was like,
little
oh,
dickhead?
this is bad. Not on purpose. I was
You
just
didn't
like,
know how much it meant to him?
not like
he knew.
that, not that intensely. Like, not that.
I'm pretty
Like,
sure he
you didn't
left my
expect him-
house
you
as
didn't-
soon as he paused it. There was we planned to watch a whole movie 5 minutes in, and I'm pretty sure he left.
Yeah, probably sounds like,
Like,
something
I
I do.
probably kicked them out.
Oh, there it is.
I mean, either one sounds like.
Did
it
you
makes
expect
sense.
him to get mad? That's the important part.
No, I don't remember it being like that. I just remember thinking it was bad and laughing. Like, I'm sorry. And it still makes me laugh. I think almost out of that association now, where I'm just like, this is funny.
Well, I think it's goofy.
It's definitely goofy.
Cute.
But then Jesse
Yeah.
you did force. I was about to say, well, not forced, but no, you forced me to go see it in theaters. And I was just weeping at the ending and was like, oh, wow. I think and it was my second favorite movie of all time for a long time. I was like, what's better?
And I was just like, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah. Cue the timbo.
It fucking happened.
Or no, the break bot. That's who it is.
Oh, okay.
Baby, I'm yours.
Anyway, but so it became a real important movie to me for a long time until, god damn it, I was a little George Bailey in high school in the play version, which is really fucking bad. It's like abysmally
Truncated.
bad. It's so annoying how much they cut out. It's like they don't even do the high school dance scene. It's
What?
like
What's the
we're
play
in.
version?
It's
Well, hold on. I
it's
want to
bad.
pause real quick because when we watched this, as in I, Jesse, and Brandon to my right.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Frank.
Anyway, when Brandon and I watched this a week or two ago for the first time this year, I didn't really think about the play that I had seen Frank in years ago much. Like, and I really never have, like, while watching it. And I haven't watched this movie with Frank in years, up until our shared rewatch just about a week ago. And I would say that the entire time I was watching it, there were only maybe like a handful of scenes that I was like, yeah, maybe they did this scene. Whereas like everything else, I'm like, they couldn't have done this. How would they have done this scene? Like the dance scene with the pool. It's like, how do you do that?
You could have easily, actually, I think. But that's fine. You fall into the pit.
Yeah, there you go.
Easy.
Are there any scenes that like were like necessary that got cut? Because I couldn't remember from my recollection of the play.
No. Technically, no. Like that's it. It's all the important stuff, though. There is no superfluous scenes.
And it starts with Clarence and George at the bridge, correct?
Yeah, and then they do like a weird like flashback thing. It starts with Clarence. It starts with Clarence getting the job.
Oh yeah,
like him talking to God or whatever, and then me on the bridge and him there, and it's like what? And he's like, "Let me show you your wonderful life." And I'm like, "All right, dope, thanks." I guess
it's pretty cool.
No, it's bad. It was really bad, but I remember trying to watch this like a year after being in it, and I couldn't even get through it. It felt too close to home, and I haven't watched it since then. And that was my senior year of high school. So what was that? 2014. So it's been like 6 years. 6 years since I've seen it, and it was all just fun.
That's
I knew
insane
it
to me.
I knew it all like the back of my hand, and I was just crying through a lot. And I would think of our production sometimes because I'd just be like, "God damn it! I was just being Jimmy Stewart. That's it. That's all I was doing."
I mean, it's a pretty good blueprint.
God damn it.
Why wouldn't you?
I know. But more often than I thought.
Like maybe one of the best, if not the best performance like of all time. It's just so good.
It's up there for sure. I was about to say like, no, it's up there. It's not
like the whole
one.
cast is amazing.
Yeah.
There's not a bad note in this whole thing.
Oh, you're wrong. You're completely wrong.
Okay.
There's one bad note. The brown note. Potter. Don't even get me started.
Okay.
Well,
Don't you okay me? He's
Bad
the
in
worst.
context of the movie, but it makes it a better movie.
He makes me hate him more.
Good antagonist.
Great antagonist. He's
Worst
a piece.
antagonist.
Exactly.
You're supposed to hate the
worst.
antagonist.
Good.
It's with the total bullshit movie. It's actually bullshit, but it's definitely one of my like 5 favorite movies. Again, I forgot. I was like, right, this is it. This is the sauce for sure. Brandon, what does this mean to you? Even though you're new to it, but have already watched it twice, willingly. I don't even have to strap you down. Like,
Can't believe it.
I do it again, just to see what would happen. So I actually like literally knew jack shit about this movie. I didn't see the production when I was in high school because
rude.
I just didn't.
I was the star.
I know. Maybe that's like why. Maybe I was like, I can't.
Rude.
He's too close.
Rude.
He's right there.
Right.
So I never saw the production and never bothered to watch the movie. Jesse's always, sung its praises, but I've never been around during his annual watch, It's never been like in the premises where he's like, hey, come on, let's go.
I don't usually watch at home.
I think the year you saw it, like the years you were seeing it in theaters, at least in the latter years of our life, I've been not in the vicinity. So there's that.
That tracks.
But I always knew that he loved it, and only recently in my life has he been like, "Gotta watch. God, I'm feeling it in my bones. It's a wonderful lifetime. It's a wonderful lifetime." And he was like itching and raring to go, and I was like, "Fuck it, man, I'll do it." I'm not really a Christmassy guy. I don't really get in like that holiday spirit, but I want to feel that joy for him because I know it sucks living with somebody that brings down your holiday spirit. So I was like, "Fuck it, man." Friday, let's get together. We'll fucking watch It's a Wonderful Life and we'll have a good time and get all Christmassy. And then I fucking was sniffling and sobbing into my hands by the end. And I was like,
no, the thing that killed me was,
Oh, God.
anybody who's seen this movie, which I don't know, did we advise that we spoil movies on this podcast?
not this episode.
Okay, well, if you haven't figured it out yet, we spoil movies on this podcast. Yeah. We will spoil other movies other than It's a Wonderful Life.
Howie
so
Bling
gets
gets shot in the face.
There you go.
That blunt hurts.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Also, we have a Twitter and email.
Yeah,
somebody
at
say
Chronic Canon as well as the Chronic Canon at gmail.com.
That's one N in Canon.
That's correct, not two.
Is that a misconception?
Mine.
Brandon spells it wrong a lot.
All the time.
I'm Frank.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Brandon. I spell it wrong.
It's also cool if you don't smoke.
Yeah, that's
definitely
okay.
that's
You don't
cool.
got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You can just listen along and laugh at us for being high because we're degenerates.
I can feel the blunt.
The blunt felt you earlier.
Fuck! All right. Go on.
What killed me most the last viewing was the whole movie I was watching with Brandon, his first watch, and he seemed to be enjoying it. It wasn't like seeming as if he was being all that emotionally affected in the same way, because like at this rate, at this point in my life, I cry the entire time. Like I do not cry.
Oh yeah.
At all
Jesse,
the way I cry.
I really
He's
want to
not-
say for the record, you're not exaggerating.
He's not exaggerating.
Even a little bit.
We really need to like reiterate
Like-
that. We want to put that in your brains. He is sobbing like the whole movie.
Like, I definitely cried at a lot of random scenes, and at the end is a sprint of tears.
It's too much.
But I cannot stress enough, it is nothing compared to the 130-minute sob fest that is Jesse watching It's a Wonderful Life.
It's too much. It's like you know what you're doing, Frank Capra.
Yeah, it's literally fucked.
You're manipulating me.
But for real, that's what really
I'm
hit this
crying
time.
right now talking about it.
You're not even talking about it. That's the
haven't even
crazy
gotten
part.
into the meat of the movie. You're just thinking about
Yeah,
it
you're
too
just
hard.
thinking about it.
Relax.
You remember how Frank like freaked out during The Irishman? Well, get ready, folks. Might be worse this time on this end.
Listen,
Woo! Let's go.
as we were talking about my connection to
Yeah,
the
wait,
movie.
you didn't even.
No, but I had to a whole point
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
alluding to. So I'm crying the whole time. Brandon's not. We get to the end and I lose it. Like as soon as it's pretty much the moment he says, I don't care what happens to me, just let me get back to my wife and kids. Like that's where I fucking just lose my mind. And from that moment forward, like the George, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I know you fucking Zuzu's pedals.
Yeah,
fucking
it's too
Jesus.
much. It's too much.
But
It's too much.
at that moment, Brandon goes and puts his arm around me the moment George sprints back for the town when the music swells up. And he's just holding on the whole time. He's holding me. And then we get to the very end. He's not crying, at least as far as I can tell. And
Keep going.
we get to
Little cries.
we get to the Harry Bailey entrance at the end, which is just the fucking it's the cannon blast at the end that he
It
just
really
goes,
gets me.
like
It really gets me.
it's the last shot before you go in the coffin. And he comes in
What?
and
The richest man in town.
you just want to feel the pop pop.
Yeah, right. Floodgates open.
Emotionally, like I just can't do it. I've never felt like I've been in the shower before and it doesn't feel like I'm as wet on the face. So I know that sounds sexual, but listen.
Oh god.
And I'm weeping. I'm losing my mind. And all of a sudden, Brandon just he says, "The richest man in town," and I just hear like a literally, like the most genuine.
Could have yelled it in.
And I was
Oh,
like,
God.
"Thank God,
That's the
thank
one.
I
God."
think that's when the blubbering starts for me too.
No, this is so I'm noticing from what Jesse's saying, from what Frank is saying, and from my own two watches, I feel like there's a progression here. Like the more you watch,
The more you
you're
just
gonna start crying.
Oh, yeah.
because I mean both watches didn't cry like until the very end, but I always start crying like after he's back and he's having after that interaction with Bert, or is it Ernie?
It's
It's
Bert.
Fuck. Sure.
Bert's the cop. Bert's
yeah,
the
yeah.
cop.
It's the
Right,
cop,
Bert,
it's
the
the
cop, Bert Reynolds. After his
Russell.
interaction, after his interaction with Bert, I start tearing up.
That just clicked. That was good. That was good.
Bert Russell.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You know his kid, Burt Russell. Wyatt. Burt Russell. Why do you keep saying that? His name's Wyatt.
it definitely should have been Bert.
gotta be Bert. Nobody knows what we're talking about.
God
Are we
damn
talking
it.
about It's a Wonderful Life? Anyway,
Wait, what were you saying? Bert, you start crying when he's with Bert?
I start
Russell.
crying
my
after
mouth's
that
bleeding, Bert.
when he's running home, and he's hugging all his kids and shit. That's when the tears start, but it's
Yeah, when
never
he's
like
back
a
in the
lot.
house.
When he's holding all his kids and shit.
And then
I can't.
Jesse was right about the Harry entrance. On the first viewing, I was like, "Ugh," and then let the tears come. But on the second viewing, I was already blubbering that hard. By the end,
It's like you forget it happens. It's
and
like,
then
oh,
when
fuck that.
and then when Harry came in, I literally went, "Oh fuck, come on!" Fucking, I
remember
lost
that,
it. I
yeah.
went, "Oh, come on!" Because like, why would you do that to me?
This movie's fucked up.
Like I said, this movie is manipulative. It is
Sorry.
conniving. It knows what it's doing. It has a plot to make you cry, and it accomplishes its mission. Probably, hopefully, fucking 80% of the time. Come on.
How do you not?
I don't understand.
No, seriously though, it's starting to bother me.
You know-
Are there people that watch this? And I don't care if you don't cry a single other moment. At the end, or at least you're not feeling like you could cry. I get it. Some people like it's a movie. No matter what happens, I'm not gonna cry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry for you. Your life is less rich.
I'm with you there. Look,
No, but like that feeling, like you at least have to feel emotional, right? Like how is like what?
unless you're that guy who said George Bailey sucks,
Fucking-
quote.
You fucking idiot! I will find you. Which is I
How
feel
do
like
you
this
say
is
that after a whole life of showing excellency?
excellence?
Well, I mean, he does falter a few times. as
because
all
he's a
human
human
beings do.
goddamn being.
That's
Maybe,
the-
well, really, he's just mean to Mary like the whole movie. I actually don't see why she loves him.
Yeah.
But hey, someone's gotta, or he wouldn't make it.
Their weird courtship scene is always the one scene in the movie. I'm like, this is kind of even hard to figure out what the fuck he's thinking.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
like-
but I know he's just upset.
That is one of the strangest
It's the
yet
str-
most romantic because it's so weird because I feel like by the end you do feel it's
Yeah,
the
you're right.
same exact embrace and reaction as it is at the end. Like it's as if Mary's the person for him his entire life and he knew it.
But he doesn't
And
want
he's
to at that point.
Well,
Because
it's
he knows
it's
that
not
means
the
he'll
dream.
stay.
It means he'll never leave Bedford Falls.
Oh.
But then he knows by the end it's all worth it. And that's where I think like that's what my whole thing personally with this film is
We're
watching
talking
it
like crazy lunatics.
once a year. Annually, I think I've mentioned this on previous episodes of the show, which we haven't mentioned first-time listeners. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, welcome.
We're so sorry.
This is literally maybe the most chaotic episode of the Chronic Canon we've
We
recorded
say
thus
that
far.
every fourth episode.
I don't know. I'm feeling it this time. I watch this movie once a year, and I specifically limit it to once a year because I worry that if I overdo it, I'm going to blow the potency of this movie and ruin It's a Wonderful Life for myself. I don't want to do that. This movie is too good. It is too perfectly constructed. It's literally not like I said, not a sour note in the whole thing. It's the most perfectly executed movie I've ever seen, especially given the fact that it's so cinematic yet grounded in such what feels like a tangible reality. Obviously, it's overblown. It's the past, a past that I never even came close to knowing.
Mhm.
But the story feels so universal and so close to what we still live through today as an American society specifically. I think no question that this is the best movie ever made in my head, but it's also easily the best American movie ever made. And I feel like that's at least closer to objective than a few other things. Like in the sense that it's just like, what do you want? Like, what do you want from a movie? Like it literally goes through every emotional extreme that the human could feel. It's fucking obnoxious. I can't handle it. But that's why I want to limit it. That's why I don't want to go nuts. Because if I go too crazy, I don't think it would be able to retain that. No movie could. You can't run it into the ground.
The only reason you guys even watched this second time was for my sake, so I appreciate that.
And you know, on that note, I did break the seal this year and watched it twice, but I think 2020 warranted it. I think this was such a shitty
I think
year
you deserve that.
that I think we all needed 2 watches of It's a Wonderful Life in theory. Frank, you should watch it again.
I don't know if I could do it.
That's how I felt.
I feel like if I watched that alone, I just might evaporate into the air.
Watch it with your papa.
No,
Mhm.
because then if he's not crying, I'm gonna be annoyed.
Oh, if he's crying in Ghost but not It's a Wonderful Life, just smear it all over his face.
you have to, Dad. We're watching.
Oh, that's what It's a Wonderful Life is missing. Whoopi Goldberg.
Remake.
No.
She's Clarence.
No remake. Stop it.
Too late, I think.
No,
No
remake.
remake.
Charlize Theron.
No need.
What are you
But
talking about? Oh, because Die Hard.
as Frank pointed out, this
Why
is
did you do that?
a movie that I've had forever. My family has always loved this movie. This was something that was introduced to me probably as a baby. I don't remember a time that this movie wasn't a part of my life.
They popped him out of the womb,
And
sat
when-
him in that little bed thing, and immediately projected It's a Wonderful Life.
Probably a good thing.
When I'm putting it into full context,
Don't be
this
bad.
probably is the movie I've seen more than any other movie ever in my life.
We've talked about that.
Yep, we definitely have alluded to that. And I specifically find ways to see it in a theater every year, which is an experience I was robbed of this year, of course, as pretty much most of us Americans at the very least were. Yeah, it still carries that same potency at home. It really doesn't change, like the atmosphere, the vibe, but I mean, it's beautiful on the big screen. It feels like an event being able to go see that film every year, which it's ludicrous to me that I never just accepted that was my favorite movie. It's like George trying to, not accept Mary as the love of his life. It's like, yes, It's a Wonderful Life is the love of my life. It's the best movie ever made. I love this movie.
Yeah.
But like I said, no other movie gets me like this movie does. It's insane how every single moment is tied in to that ending. I think that's the thing, is the ending is the ultimate cathartic route, and all the other elements are literally just building upon itself to get to that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what the whole kit and caboodle's about, baby.
Trying to sell community and family are more important than money and business.
But in
It feels-
1945,
No, 46.
I think that's
46.
important.
1 year after the war ended,
I
which is a
think-
very important thing to note.
I feel like it's a Frank Capra Hail Mary. Like, we don't have to go down this dark path. Like, let's stick together. Let's be close. Let's not fall into industry in this post-war wake. And we didn't. He failed.
Well, listen, I think
But hey, this is the best argument somebody could have ever had made.
no, I think that the time that this movie is made is so fucking telling, and it's amazing.
it's interesting that, well, one, both Frank Capra and Jimmy Stewart served in the war.
Mhm.
This was Jimmy Stewart's first movie as well as Capra's first movie post-war, working back in the Hollywood studio system. Now, this is also the first and only time that Capra will like produce, co-write, direct. Like, he funneled so many different things into this movie. He put so much of himself into this movie, which in looking up and doing research, this is also one of the only movies in his canon that he actually writes, which is insane. But I mean, there were a lot of other writers that contributed to this, even uncredited, like Clifford Odets and stuff like that. But to go back to the war point, it's really interesting that this movie was also shot, or at least began shooting, the same day as what would win Best Picture that year at the Oscars, The Best Years of Our Lives. Another movie that is intensely focused on post-war America, even more intimately on the soldier end of things, and that fucking puts you in it for 3 hours. And I can only imagine that double bill, even today, would be the most absurdly emotional powerhouse experiences you could ever have at the movies. And they're both so confined to Americana, human spaces, intimate, with characters, discovering who they are. But it's interesting how even like The Best Years of Our Lives, which just like It's a Wonderful Life, masterpiece, beautiful movie, but has a 3-hour canvas. It's a Wonderful Life has a 2-hour, 10-minute runtime. I feel like in the same way we talk about The Irishman being a life, we get the same thing from It's a Wonderful Life, even though there's tons of stuff that, like I mentioned about your play version, it's like it's truncated. The versions of life that we're seeing feel like they're just little snippets, yet we're capturing an entire person's aura, personality, and life in this tiny little capsule. And you really do feel like you're capturing all the little moments. It's interesting how I think the ending is virtually just a microcosm of the entire movie leading up, but the negative version. It's sort of like how Lynch ends up inverting Twin Peaks, inevitably,
Yeah.
But the movie like operates by doing that whole thing of like, as if when you revisit the movie after rewatching it, like the first time, second time, whatever, you kind of become like George Bailey. You're watching your whole life play out in front of you and becoming so appreciative of all of the moments that George holds dear, because that's the thing about life that's so beautiful. It's like, you feel ultimate happiness at some point in your life, because the only reason you can understand sadness is because you can understand happiness, and you're just searching for that feeling. And It's a Wonderful Life just kind of goes over those same sort of like tracks in terms of like all of these moments in George's life are why he is standing at that tree at the end with his family and all of those people, and why he's created all that love and beauty in this world and the world of others as well. He has contributed to people's lives in a positive way. And seeing all of that refracted through just this tiny lens, this very confined movie, average runtime, it's astounding. It literally blows my mind that they managed to pull this off when they did and how they did. Very simply as well. Not much to it, not too many frills.
I think it's because there's an absence of plot, because the plot is, as you're saying, just based around who the people who George is and who the people in his lives are. So like, yes, there is plot happening and continuing, but it's always through the lens of the people. And like you said, to make sure we can understand the ending, to make it, to sell it. Yeah.
And using the timeline of American history as the canvas, which is pretty interesting.
And I think that's like that it is actually similarly structured to The Irishman, but the difference being, I think The Irishman still has like plot scenes.
Yes.
Scenes that function just as plot, like to get us moving forward, where this literally doesn't have that. Everything revolves around the people and how they relate to one another.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, clearly fucking effective either way you do it. And there is something even more poignant about It's a Wonderful Life doing it quicker. This time watching, I was like, it's not even like, that's the ostensible plot of the movie, is like George Bailey's going to kill himself and Clarence needs to convince him otherwise. Everything before that is technically like build up to that plot, which doesn't happen until like an hour and a half in, and I think is only like a half hour at most.
Yeah, and that's also the
like,
most iconic part of the movie that everybody and their mother is spoofed 1,001 times.
Because everything before is literally just like, you can't. It's just George Bailey's life.
Yeah.
There is nothing else to it.
Yep.
Oh man. That's how do you it's I don't remember where I was going with it.
If there's any part of the movie where my tears kind of cease at this point, it is during the Clarence like refracted life, if George Bailey never existed sequence, because it feels so vapid of emotion other than George's fear and his existential terror of the idea that all of these things could be happening around him without his existence, without his presence. No one knows who he is. I mean, trying to comprehend that experience sounds horrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know why anyone would wish that on themselves, but hey, if it makes you appreciate life that much more and you come out the other end as good a man as George Bailey seems to.
Yeah, I mean, and that it should be the moment that has an absence of intense emotion.
Yeah.
Because we're not relating to, I mean, it's not real and it's all bad stuff.
Right.
Like, this sucks. Yeah, it's definitely the least engaging part, but I mean, that's just because I've seen it so many times. It's like, let's get to the slots, but you gotta have that one last buffer.
That is, oof. That's like the only part of the movie that I even had some sort of prior knowledge to. Like when, like I didn't really know what It's a Wonderful Life was about, but for some reason, at some point, I got the premise of like, oh, this is the movie about the guy who sees his whole life play out as if he didn't exist. And then I was like, oh, I saw that in Fairly Odd Parents. Timmy Turner wishes he was never born. It's a very good episode. But that's actually like probably the least important part. Well, the only thing that serves to do is show George Bailey what we've seen the whole movie. Is basically what that is for. But I was going to say, for what you guys are saying, the interesting perspective from someone watching it for the first time is not knowing how important these people are going to be as each scene is playing out. Like, it just feels like snippets. Like, I didn't think a Martini would be somebody that was so intricate to the plot, but the second time I watched it, I was like, there he is. There he is, Martini, my man's.
Martini only has like 2 or 3 scenes leading up to the ending.
Almost everybody does, except Mary, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Bert and Ernie play pretty crucial roles.
True. I forget that.
And then like Violet comes in every so often.
Yeah.
And I think she's more, well, no, she's not more prominent when she's a kid. Sam Wainwright appears all the time.
Uncle Billy.
Harry's probably the one who's the most absent, other than in the very beginning, the dance sequence, and then when he comes home for his visit with his new wife. Meet the wife.
The dance sequence.
So at the end, when George Bailey is home and he's hugging his fucking kids and he sees his wife for the first time, but then all these people start rushing in, I think that's what really starts to push me over the emotional edge where I'm just like, I forgot about George forgot about all of you. I'm George. I'm fine. I love everybody. I love all my friends. It's really good, you guys.
You said out loud, I remember commenting when we were watching the Never Been Born section, like, Jesus Christ, George, like get with the program. Like it's like it takes him so long to accept that that's happening, which again, fair. Yes, that's a crazy thing to actually put yourself in. But still, it's just like, just come on. Like, and Jesse, through his intense tears, just turned and went like, he can't ever think about himself. He can't believe anything to do with him. It's like, what about this person? Like, what's going on? Like, why are you acting like this? He's still, even when in a world he doesn't exist, he still can't think about himself. And then the whole thing is getting him to finally do it. You have to think about you for a moment. And that's what I think pays into him running in it to see his family, because he is thinking about himself and his life. And then suddenly it all just comes. And it's like, oh, Jesus.
It is literally like floodgates. People fucking.
It feels like Joe Pesci
in.
walks in with a Tommy gun and just starts blowing off rounds and screaming fuck at the top of his lungs. It's the same thing.
It's violent.
It is.
I'm just like,
it's abrasive. It's in your face.
When the people first started walking in and it wasn't that many, I was like, I thought I was having like a Mandela effect moment. I'm like, that's it? I thought this whole fucking and then they all started coming out. I was like, right, yeah, there it is. There's like a half fake out almost, or it takes a second for everyone to get there.
Bring back Annie.
I know, it's crazy.
Like what?
It's crazy,
and they make you laugh through it too. Like everybody has a little bit to say. You know,
of course they do. Also,
yeah,
like you motherfuckers,
dude, it's wild. Literally wild. How'd they even do it? How'd they even think of it? And the odd lane sign, everybody singing together, like the ultimate expression of love and connection.
Clarence's book.
Yep.
Left Tom Sawyer was like, thanks for helping me get my wings.
Yeah, and I think he says in there,
like you're a great
no man is a failure who has friends.
Gets me.
Yeah. And the other quote that I always, it's not spoken in the movie, but it's the moment that George looks at his father's photo in his office. I think it's early on in the movie when he's trying to make a decision about something. Oh, it's during the depression scene.
Yeah.
It's when he goes in there to be like, well, what do I do? How do I handle
Before
this?
his honeymoon.
Yep, and he looks over at the picture, and underneath the picture, it's not even like pointed at. It's just something that's there if you're looking for it. But
he looks at it if you follow his eye line.
Yeah, it says, all you can take with you is that which you've given away.
Yeah. George had good parents.
Oh, great parents.
He had a real good mom, Pa Bailey.
Yeah.
Pretty dope parents. Yeah. Like, good
Beulah
ideas.
Bondi playing the mom. Shout out.
Beulah. Who played Pa?
I don't know who played Pa, what his name was. I'd have to look it up.
I'm trying to look. There's no, that's Harry. Pa Bailey. Samuel Hines. Also, and You Can't Take It With You. Good movie.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool how Capra, I only seen a couple of his movies now, and he tends to use a lot of the same people from what I've noticed. So just like George reflects on the beauty of his life, let's reflect on the beauty of It's a Wonderful Life a little bit.
Okay.
Tell me which moments hit you the hardest.
All of them.
Okay. I was going to say I could say the same thing, but I want to hear the ones that really put you over the edge. Because even though, like I said, I cried through the whole movie, but there are specific moments that are like, I physically can't not cry.
What I would call the first married date, which I would include starting at the high school dance.
Yes.
Through to him getting the news about his dad.
Mm-hmm.
So the house, the robe,
the
all that section is probably when I was like the first release of tears, where I was just like, God damn it. It just feels like, maybe it shouldn't either, but it feels like pure romance to me. Just all of it. I'm just like, and knowing where it ends, it's just like, God damn it.
Well, I think that's what enhances it. Seeing it multiple times and knowing where everything goes, that makes the scenes that much more beautiful. Because you're coming from George's headspace, literally. Yeah.
It's the first look at the dance when he literally stops walking and then they're just looking at one another.
Mm-hmm.
It's too good. And then I love, the high school dance is so fun. When the principal jumps in the pool.
Oh, the principal's great.
He literally shrugs, smiles, and swan dives.
Which I think, also to point out, the guy who Mary is flirting with before George, or his flirting with Mary rather, is the guy who plays Alfalfa in the original Little Rascals.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and his name is Othello in the movie. What's the matter, Othello? Jealous?
But then the house bit is literally transcendently gorgeous.
Yeah, it's one of the most beautiful movie moments of all time.
What'd you wish for? just starts singing and walking away. And the road bit's funny.
Yeah.
Or when he yells at the neighbor, why don't you just kiss her already?
How's that? That was my trick here. What was that?
Oh,
Yeah.
this wasted on the young.
Which that hurt.
Yeah.
I was like, you're right, it is. It always is.
Totally.
If I knew now what I knew then. God
You come
damn
back
it.
out here, I'll show you some kissing that'll put hair back on your head.
Joey Stewart's on fire this whole movie.
Oh, he's amazing.
So the first date and the ending are probably actually the two things I look the most forward to. It's just like, give me the goods.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the goods. But like literally every other moment is amazing too. But I'm not just going to walk down every scene.
Brandon,
I'm
what
trying
about
to be
you?
concise.
Well, I already mentioned specifically the moment Harry enters and calls him the richest man in town.
Mm.
That really pushes me right over the edge, man. It just full sends me, man. I just can't even I don't know what the feeling is. It's just I guess it's something I've been waiting to hear the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know it until he says it, and I'm just that's right. He is the richest man in town. Thank you so much, Harry.
Yeah, somebody had to fucking say it.
Harry also, even more so in my second viewing, was somebody that I sort of idolized in the background, where I was just now in the first viewing I wasn't sure about him. I was is he a dickhead brother who doesn't care about George? But in the second viewing, I'm just oh, he loves him just as much.
Yeah.
They're doing everything for each other, and they just want each other to be happy, and it's really good.
What about early in the movie though?
Okay, earlier in the movie, I want to say the first moment he stands up to Potter after his dad dies,
Yeah,
so good.
That's
the way
fire.
he sways the whole room. I'm just yes, give me that.
That's
give
good
me some
acting.
more of that.
12 Angry Men in one scene.
And
Anyway,
then-
my father didn't think so.
His
People were human beings to him, but to you, you a warped, frustrated old man. They're cattle.
Jamie, what are you doing here?
he just hits one note though when he's pissed in the movie, and it's kind of funny. It doesn't modulate. He's just this is my intensity, and I'm gonna keep it right here. And you fool.
Yeah,
And he
but you're
storms
afraid of
out
his
a room.
control. It's why? It's how are you so steady right
He's
now?
even tempered. One could say, which is, quick shout out. One of my other favorite scene is the least fun scene when he freaks out at the family. I just think that's just it's the most painful scene in movie history.
Really is.
And it just so well done. And that's when it modulates. That's when it's not just that one level. It snaps and it's oh, Dad. And when he's just why y'all looking at me? I'm oh,
When he finally
George.
comes down.
No, man.
And then when they all are just what's wrong with Daddy? And they're not mad or scared. They're something's wrong.
Yeah,
What
but,
hurts
this
about
is-
the very opening
it-
of the
I-
movie.
Fuck!
they start praying. You gotta go find your dad. All
That's what sells the opening is the other people. It starts with other people praying about him.
Yeah.
That's what sells it to me.
And having the Come All Ye Faithful music
it's
box playing over it with all the fucking shots of the town as
Yep.
if it's oh my God. It's
Listen.
this is the most beautiful looking movie too.
They
I
have
always
some
regret to
gorgeous
think about
shots.
that.
Gorgeous shots.
Mhm.
Actually, there's 3 different times where they show Mary, and I'm just I get it. She's the most beautiful person on the planet. They make you see her how George sees her, and I don't even understand how. But
The
I'm just
lighting, the
I get
glow
it.
lighting,
I get it.
perfect.
It's so good. But what I was gonna say is you were talking about how that being the most painful scene in movie history. But I really love the moment with Zuzu because it reveals how he really feels. He just is
It's a beautiful scene.
he's really sad. And he cares about his fucking daughter and he loves her. That's what's actually happening. And he doesn't know how to process that to the whole family. But Zuzu needs him. And that's why he's able to be the George that we all know and love. It is so good. And when he puts those pedals in the fucking pocket,
Zuzu's
it's
pedals!
it's okay, he builds the world for her. I get it now. Why doesn't he? He will in 15 minutes. Well, fuck, 30. But still, it doesn't matter. He will get it.
Uh-huh.
But it shows you the true core of all right, yeah, it makes you see why his family reacts the way that they do with concern. Because it's that's not you, George. What are you doing?
Then there's the freak out at Zuzu's teacher.
Oh yeah, I always forget about that.
This is Welsh.
That's
The
a miss
Welsh.
that scene.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's hilarious though. oh, Mr. Welsh. Just like, I'm going to kick your ass.
It
And
doesn't
then,
even
of course,
stand
he's
a
at
chance.
Martini's bar. Wait, Bailey? Bailey who? This is George Bailey. Pop!
Because there's not a single thing in this movie that can get written off. Did you?
How funny, though, that they immediately are like, get this guy out of here. He's never allowed here again. You
George is my
fucking
best
punch
friend.
George has
Fuck.
like I think 3 or 4 interactions with Potter in the movie.
Yeah.
During the last one, Potter literally mentions something that George said in their first interaction we see in the movie. Second,
what he calls him,
a warped, miserable old man.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
sat with
literally
him
there's
his
not a
whole
single
life.
thing in this movie that isn't important and that doesn't get built upon. Even if it's within the same scene that it's presented, like they build upon it. Like even the Great Depression. I was like, oh shit, that's what's happening right now? The bank is this the Great Depression? And it totally was. And seeing George Bailey using his own fucking money to bail
One of the
everybody
best
out.
scenes.
It's the better Forrest Gump.
I'll take 1750. Oh,
I mean, I know what you're saying, but get Forrest Gump out of here. Don't even
The worst.
breathe it. We
sorry
said
if
it
you like
on
that
that
movie, but
episode.
bad movie.
Let's call it back. It's the better Last Temptation of Christ.
That too, yes. Last Temptation of Christ basically tries to tread the same ground, which hilarious that Mary is named Mary.
Yeah, literally hilarious.
Which I don't know if we've actually stated it yet, but Donna Reed is also specifically amazing in this. It's great.
yeah.
oh,
You're
I just
hesitating.
okay. I'm
Are you
hesitating because this last watch, I was like, Mary's not even a person. Like she's not even a person. Her whole existence is just George Bailey. But it's okay because it's too lovely to care. It's literally too lovely to care. I just like a little bit. I was like, it's okay. Fuck it. I was like, that's what she wants. George Bailey, I'm gonna marry you one day.
Well, no, the worst is when in the alternate life, it's if she hadn't had George Bailey, she'd just be a single old maid.
That's the one flaw of the movie.
Yeah.
As if
we haven't talked about that.
like Sam, what's his name?
Sam Wainwright.
She'd be married to him.
Yeah, that's what I said.
like duh. Like what are we talking about?
But that's
And
what George has to see to make it click.
I
because
know,
this
but
is a construction by
For him.
the angels
For him.
For him.
Yeah.
Everybody is significantly worse.
Oh, like doing
it's
terrible. And
like
then Mary's
a
like,
homeless dead, like in prison, or just an asshole
Without
now.
George Bailey,
A
Potter
guest.
takes over the town.
a librarian. Like, yeah, it's like you couldn't think of anything.
She never married.
Yeah, and why is he not allowed to see her? Also, because he's like, I'm not supposed to tell.
I think it's him like getting George closer.
Yeah.
I think it might be hyping it up for,
That's
just
what
like,
I
I
kinda think.
can't tell you.
that's
Wink,
what-
wink.
It's kind of
If
meta
you
because it's
see
like a
what
movie.
you've done,
What, how so?
In the way that you watch something that's not real, but it makes you feel like it's real. It's a movie. And it's being made as a movie.
Yes,
Thank you, Howie.
I agree. Wait, what were we?
One moment specifically that we haven't talked about at all yet that also gets me is right before he goes over to Mary's house for the first time when he's standing outside of I think it's his old childhood home, the Bailey boarding house, while everybody else is partying inside over Harry's wedding. And he's standing outside by himself having a cigarette.
Oh my!
And there's the beautiful scene with his mom, but also the moment with Uncle Billy where he walks off, which the funny thing for anybody who doesn't know the trivia, that when Uncle Billy walks off screen and you hear that giant crash happen through his drunken state and he screams, I'm all right. It's just like a PA carrying a tray of props and he dropped them just by chance. And it just happened that he improvised that line. Thomas Mitchell.
Thomas Mitchell's a fucking
OG.
G.
Yep.
He's so fucking good.
So
in
good.
Everything.
Literally everything. He's never been or had a bad performance. He's like a Philip Seymour Hoffman.
But we got to talk about it. Uncle Billy having a total Fredo.
Oh, dude, yeah, we mentioned that hot off the Godfather 2
betray
watch.
me.
He's the Fredo of
He's
this
the
movie.
Fredo of the movie.
Yeah.
It's like you're harmless little Uncle Billy, and then you fuck up so
And you know how he
bad.
fucks because he's being a dickhead.
He's
to
being
Potter.
a dick. Yeah. He just had to get in Potter's
He had to
face.
get his jollies.
He had to rip him a new one. Did you see that? Harry Bailey's gonna be a war hero.
Well, I think you forgot something. Huh? You forgot something. What? Well, the money.
Oh yeah. and then just fuck all. It literally made George almost kill himself.
When
like,
George-
thanks, Billy.
When George attacks Uncle Billy in his office, when he starts grabbing him and shaking him like, "Where's that stupid money, old fool? Where's that money?"
It's like
scary,
but it's fair.
Yeah.
You know what?
You literally feel that rage. Like, what the fuck did you
But then when
what the
Billy
fuck would you
collapses
do?
onto the desk and the squirrel jumps on his arm, it's sad.
It's very sad. Yeah, I feel bad. He didn't mean to.
Because the whole movie, it's a fatal flaw. The whole movie, the strings, they're always there. Even when George was a kid, he's forgetful. He doesn't know. Don't put $8,000 in Billy's hands.
Yeah,
maybe George.
Kind of on you, George.
Kind of on you.
No, it really isn't. It's only Billy's fault.
Because Billy's probably been doing that. Probably wasn't his first day taking money to the fucking bank.
But yeah,
He's also a grown ass man.
that whole scene where he walks off.
$8,000.
It's Billy's fault. For sure.
I was in charge of taking an envelope of money to a fucking bank for family video like twice a week, and it was fine. I took
always
the
fine.
envelope and put it in a mailbox.
One time they were like, "There's no check," and when I took it, I was like, "Fuck you!" I took it. Like, what are you talking about? They're like, "It never got deposited," and I was like,
I
I was literally like, "What's going on?" And then they're like, well, "Yeah, they have footage of your car, but they can't see you put the envelope in." I was like, "What do you mean? I did." I'm like, "What's going on?"
gotcha.
No, they eventually fucking found it. Was like stuck in their fucking chute, and I was like,
Did you
"Bitch,
not
you were getting mad at me, and you didn't even look." Like,
Is that why? Is that why they make us started making people record?
yes, it was me. It was me. Apparently, I guess. I mean, like I did it. I think I was like smoking a bowl too at that moment, like literally putting it in. I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna get so fucked." And then they're like, "No, we can't see." And I was like, "Oh shit, this is worse."
Now they think I stole the money.
I was like, "Bro, you can check my bag." Like, I don't have the money. Like, oh fuck.
Quick side note. My family video got robbed, but the guy just literally crawled on all fours and reached behind the counter and grabbed the envelope of money. It was so funny. You can see him do it on camera. Because the whole rule is that there's two people there.
Yeah.
One of them always has to be behind the counter, and
We didn't have two people there, but go on.
No, that was the rules for
Selling
for
family
our
video
store.
under the rug.
So he literally on all fours
Just
crawled.
crawled. You can literally see him reach.
It's like the Poughkeepsie tapes.
And then did he run out after he grabbed it? He crawled out?
He rented a movie.
What?
He rented a movie. I'm so serious. That's how they found. They're like, he rented the movie. I was like, there's no fucking way.
That's
He's
fucking
like
lie.
John Cena behind the guy. They won't see me.
What
And I'll pull a
fucking-
Joker move and rent
got
a
him.
movie like I'm a mastermind. Like they,
It's too good. Anyways,
That's
Billy, you're an idiot.
amazing. Yeah, Billy's that fucking guy. Like, what were you thinking? God. And also, absurd how he even did that. I don't care how in the moment you are. The way he, like, does it, it looks very choreographed. Like, that happened because it's a movie.
well, there's also like a hard cut, like to a just slightly closer shot, which
so
happens a couple times in the movie, but I don't give a shit.
During the first
don't
watch,
either.
I
It's
didn't
imperfect
see,
like life.
during my first watch, I actually didn't see the envelope inside the newspapers. So I was just as confused as to where the fucking money went. On the second watch, I was like, I'm looking for that fucking envelope. And it was tucked in there.
Yeah.
So I understand, Billy. It's okay.
No.
Wait, no, it's not, you asshole.
Yeah, we feel bad for Billy, but also, God damn it. Fredo. It's a Fredo moment. It's like, Fredo.
At least he's the one carrying the basket at the end when the like leading the parade.
At least George
sorry.
Bailey doesn't get him shot in the head. Like, I'm really glad that everybody came through for me, Billy, but
George Bailey
you
doesn't-
still fucked up.
He doesn't go home and grab that fucking piece of his stair
Listen.
post off and just beat Billy to death with it. Fucking hold on. So
Never
I didn't even get to say
forget.
the moment that I fucking love in that scene. But when Billy walks off drunk way earlier,
Oh, go ahead.
and then after that, before he talks to his mom about going to see Mary, it's just when he's standing smoking a cigarette and then he hears the train off in the distance. Because earlier in the movie, he's like, there's no better sound in the world than the sound of a train whistle. And you can just see that look in his eyes like, I fucked up. I
Mhm.
should have I should have went. And it just hurts. That scene hurts. But on top, we haven't even talked about what might be the equivalent to what you see in the first date scene, if you will, the first courtship scene in the honeymoon sequence. which is just fucking too
I'm an
too
idiot.
much.
I forgot about that scene.
It's
The moment
literally
you said it, though, I'm like, oh, that's top 5 scenes.
it's literally the best
It's-
fucking moment. That is maybe the most romantic scene in movie history,
Especially
to
because
me.
it's following
all her idea too.
Well, yeah, and following him giving away all their money. It's after
Yeah.
that scene.
Yeah. Well, Mary's the one who prompts that too.
Yeah,
George
I know.
didn't think of that.
No, because she's the best.
The best.
Because they're the
is the
best.
best.
Because they both don't think about themselves.
And here's the thing, I was worried.
He's only thinking about her and
I
she's
was
only
like,
thinking about him.
she's probably just at home waiting for him, all sad. But like, she's just as amazing as George Bailey. But the way George cares about everybody, she's like, all right, well, I'm gonna be the one to care for you, you idiot. Like, I love you, and I'll be the one to think about you since you don't think about
I
you.
mean,
And maybe that's why he hates her. He's
when
like,
you-
come on,
When you think about
but he
it,
loves her.
she's taking a big risk there. Because earlier in the movie, George is like, in that place, I'm going to live there as a ghost.
It's a big
So-
Gamby.
She knows it's a sap.
But that
He's a
when he,
sap.
when he looks over at the bedroom and sees the bed and the look on his face.
He's like, oh, I'm a fuck there. That's straight up the face he makes, though. It's nothing. You
It's like
can't interpret
shock.
it any other way. It's not. It's shock at first, and then it's the oh.
He's
he
like,
literally
"Alright."
does.
And then the chicken's roasting over the fire with the record player and the spindle. It's like, what the fuck? What are you doing? This is too much.
And you
And
got
then
Bert and
when they
Ernie
finally,
singing.
they're singing
The
song.
posters are where they were supposed to
Posters.
go.
all the beautiful places and that George has always wanted to go.
Yep.
We
And
can
then
have our
one of
honeymoon here.
one of the key lines that triggers the tears is remember that night when we were throwing rocks at this old house? That was what I wished for. This right here. It's like
For the record,
tea kettle.
she actually throws the rock and hits the window.
Yeah, that was her. They hired a marksman to do it, but she
said,
did it
"Fuck
herself.
that."
She was like, I played baseball in high school, you fuckers.
And to speak about
Queen.
also amazing performative moments in the movie, as far as like behind the scenes is concerned, during that scene where George goes to visit Mary when she comes home from school and they're all angry at each other and whatnot, that was like the first like kissing scene that Jimmy Stewart had shot post-war, and apparently that was something that made him nervous. So
I forgot how
the
to
touch of
kiss.
Forgot the touch of a woman.
they staged it so it was very little people in the room and stuff while they were shooting. But even weirdly enough, they were shooting on a separate set simultaneously the Sam Wainwright stuff that plays intercut with that. They were shooting it at the exact same time. So when you see it in the movie, it's real time.
Wow.
They're just cutting back and forth between different cameras. And that's all the first take. Everything that happens in that one close up where Sam's on the phone and Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed are doing their back and forth looking at each other. That's all the first take and the only take. They didn't do another one.
They
no
actually had
safety.
they fucking had to cut it down because he's like,
Yeah, apparently it wouldn't have made it past the censors.
because it was too
Too
passionate.
passionate.
That means tongue.
I mean, it's heated. It's intense.
He forgot the touch of a woman.
He did.
He was at war.
Makes sense now.
He got
The
married.
way she stages that whole setup, man, like with the painting, the George lassos the moon with the record player with the song on. It's like, come on, she's setting you up. George is perfect.
You gonna come in? I was just walking by.
And do you notice that like all the moments where George is like struggling within himself the most, he's like can't open doors.
Mm.
It's like a thing. Like with the car at the end too, when he kicks the door in
Yeah.
after giving away Martini's house and Sam Wainwright drives off. It's very funny how he just keeps struggling with the door all the time, can't walk through it. It's probably because it's him breaking through another door in his life. Do I do it? Do I not?
Yeah.
Oh, I
It
do
has
it.
to be.
Forgot
Do
my
I
hat.
stay or do I go down?
Capra's a little manipulating
Yeah.
bitch.
And that fucking he's making violent love to me, mother. George Bailey, what's he want?
It's so funny that she's so anti-George. Like,
Um,
who are
yeah.
you, lady?
So dumb. Mary.
Also hilarious
Mary!
that Sam the whole time is just like, get in on the ground floor on plastics. And
Yep.
they're just like, we trying to fuck, Sam. Can you shut up
Get
for
out
a
of here.
second?
I don't need plastics. I need Mary.
I
Did-
need
did you-
Mary.
Either of you know that apparently when I was conceived, my mom told my dad by painting him a my dad lassos stork sign and putting it up in the house.
That's actually amazing.
Yeah,
That's
That's
they,
beautiful.
they still have it. It's beautiful. And I like to think that that's why this is my favorite movie.
You were
'Cause
lassoed
you are the
in a
moon.
Stark.
Yeah.
Oh, you are the moon.
Sure. Let's go with that. I light the night.
I love.
Now it's dark.
When are you gonna admit it? That is one of his absolute favorite movies.
Blue Velvet?
Sure.
You
That's what
quote
he
it
keeps saying.
All the time.
You've said that more than any other phrase I've ever heard come out of your fucking mouth. It's every time I see you.
Dude,
You
every
say
day
it.
I say this at least 3 times. Totally, dude. You know that. That's like my
Party
fucking
Like a Rock
catchphrase.
Star? Was that from Party Like a Rock
Yes.
Star?
Party like a rock. Party like a rock.
You,
star.
I assumed you were gonna cut all this.
No, probably not.
Good.
Keep it and double it. you
No,
know?
they're right, but I don't
Keep it
know
in
if quoting
triple.
it all the time makes it.
Don't dare me.
It does. That's your favorite song and favorite movie of all time. You heard it here first. Brandon's official favorites: Blue Velvet and Party Like a Rock Star.
There you go.
That's
to know
dope.
anything about me.
I mean, actually, I feel like if you put those two things together somehow, it makes perfect sense.
I've got the same energy.
Sure.
Not, like you're the midpoint of those two things.
fuck!
I'll
Party
fuck
like a
anything that
rock.
moves.
Yeah.
Totally.
Instead of in dreams.
Anyways, It's a Wonderful Life.
Hold on. We gotta. Who sings that song? It's Shot Boys. Like what the fuck? Shot Boys. This fucking blast from 2007. What the fuck?
Okay.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
But
It's okay.
I'm just gonna edit a little video for you for Christmas. I've now decided.
Okay.
Like a Blue Velvet AMV
Super cut.
to Party Like a Rock. Okay. It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a great Christmas gift.
I literally don't even know what to say right now.
It's an incredibly hard, for being my favorite movie of all time, it's an incredibly hard movie for me to talk about in any realistic capacity, because it's just like I can just blubber things out about things that I love with no cohesive structure. Because
I
it's just
think-
the best. It's the best.
I think most people feel that. Like, it's harder to talk about something you love than something you hate. It's like those are intense. Because usually it's like, if I start to break down why, it'll lose some magic. Like, there almost is, it has to have an elemental feeling, I think.
Well,
With something that you're purely like, I connect to this, and I like The Irishman. It's like, yeah, we talked through it and I get it, but it always feels like, no, I can't. There's something there I can't say. I don't know.
well, it's
It just
interesting
makes
because
me weep like a baby.
when I watch this movie, I feel like I have that absence of filmmaking brain. Like
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
are moments, but like I don't think about the way the movie was made at all. I'm just in it. Like
Yep.
it literally just completely envelops me in its world every single time I see it, no matter how many times I've seen it, no matter how well I know it. I always get lost in it every time. It just happens. And I don't, it feels like a check-in every year. Like it feels just like you grow another year and you watch It's a Wonderful Life and you think about that whole year in retrospect and you go over it and you're like, okay, next year, what are you going to do? And then the year after that, it's like, did you do it? No, probably not.
But did you make the people's lives around you better?
I hope so.
That's all there is to it.
That's the whole point.
Let go of your fucking bullshit and just be good.
Love fully and dearly because we're only here for a short while and no one is a failure who has friends.
Do you know if Jimmy Stewart was a socialist? I tried Googling it. Couldn't find
He
anything
was conservative, I'm pretty sure.
Because Frank Capra is a very known socialist. And
Big time.
I feel like this movie, if I feel it the most, of the few I've seen, and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, like,
Yeah.
obviously. But this even more so in that philosophy of like, we gotta help each other.
It's a movie about the people.
It's so sad. It's so sad. It's so sad.
The whole thing.
But it's so
But
happy.
it's about but that's the thing is there's so much bad going on around these people. I alluded to the point earlier where it's just like it's about the beautiful moments. It's like if it was all this bad, awful, horrific stuff, no one would be here
Mhm.
still. Because we have that beauty, we're going to keep chasing after it in the face of all the adversity, in the face of all the darkness, in the face of all the evil. All that stuff we can overcome to get to the beauty of life because we can only have so much of it before it's gone. It's like the oil well of emotion, trying to drum happiness for all it's worth throughout your entire life. And I feel like watching It's a Wonderful Life is kind of a cheat code in a way because I don't feel as much euphoria watching a movie as I do watching this.
Mhm.
It's astounding how wonderful this movie makes me feel.
Actually, I think there literally is only one movie that rivals it for me, and it's 2001. And they are the perfectly opposed movies. Like, one is all brain and one is all heart.
Truth.
But, like, in my mind, they're saying the same things weirdly. It's just like, just live and be good and transcend as much as you can. Whatever
George
it
Bailey
means.
certainly does.
Right. It's one's on a human level, one's on like an
Imagine what
existential
happens
level.
after that ending. What do? Harry, has his thing the next day.
Well, they're all throwing a party right then and there for
Yeah.
sure. Everybody's gonna laugh and hang out and drink.
I mean, even
And then tomorrow's a fucking parade for Harry or whatever. And it's just they're gonna be riding high for a while.
It's
And then
Christmas.
Potter's gonna do something fucking shitty and
the cycle
start again.
continues.
They'll
Yeah.
get through it.
until eventually he wins. Potter
Guess what?
wins. Potter does inevitably win. That's why the movie ends there. It's a plea to not let the Potters of the world win, but they did.
I was going to mention
They
earlier that
literally did.
this operates for Capra in a similar way that Come and See operates for Klimov.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if this is officially the last movie that Capra ever directed officially. 'Cause I think he definitely at least did a couple, if not a few more. But this was the last one of note, for sure.
Well, he definitely has some after. I'm looking. He does. I did pick up. I don't know. Am I clicking all these? No, these don't look like movies. There's at least like 5 or 6 after, actually, and I've heard of none of them. His last movie was in 1961. Damn, he was old. He died in 1991.
Yeah.
What?
He was born in 1897.
Wild.
So he was almost 100 years old.
He lived a wonderful life,
Presumably.
presumably. I actually know nothing about Frank Capra's life. I should look more into that.
Literally
I always
all
think
I
about
know-
that. I'm like, you've made my favorite movie of all time, and I've only seen maybe 3 or 4 of your movies.
It's part of the mystique, isn't it?
A bit, yeah. But It Happened One Night rivals this on a similar level. That is also one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen.
It's fucking dope.
Another movie that fills me with complete euphoria.
Not as intensely as that.
No, not in the same way. But it's also beautiful. There are moments in that movie that are very similar to moments in this. Like, I think all the silent moments between Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert are the ones that really get me in that one.
Mhm.
Where it's the things they're not saying.
Hey, I just wanted you to know you sounded like a lunatic.
I
just
hope.
now.
Now, also, it's interesting in that movie that they don't kiss. Not once. They
Who?
certainly do, and It's a Wonderful Life, though.
Yeah, they smoochy.
A lot.
It's hot.
It's heat.
Never
Remember
seen
that
it.
movie? We told you if you like it, you can stay. If you don't, get the fuck out.
Why are you still here?
Just checking in.
Way too deep.
The budget? $3.18 million.
Whoa.
Which today is 42.4.
That's pretty high for
That's-
this movie.
That's big budget.
It made 3.3.
Yeah, it was
which today is
big ol'
44 million. So it literally broke even, basically. That was considered a failure.
because it
And
was meant to be like a huge
Yeah.
Oscar movie, which it did get nominated for a couple at the very least, right?
5.
Was Best Picture one of them?
Yes. And lead actor, director, sound, and editing.
Interesting.
But it did not win a single one. That
Yikes.
Best Years of Our Lives swept like everything.
Which, I mean, it's an amazing movie.
That one, like
It's
10?
the same argument about how Green Was My Valley and Citizen Kane. I've seen How Green Was My Valley, and it's also great. So it's like, whatever. Sure. The Oscars literally don't matter.
7. Best Years of Our Lives won 7
Damn, that's a lot of Oscars.
out of a possible 8.
Wow.
How much money now would George's $20,000 proposed salary from Potter be?
Let me look. 20,000?
Yeah. And I think that he gives him that job.
$266,000
Damn.
a year. So that's a hot. I'd start drooling.
All right. Well,
Did
how
you
much is
calculate
to
that
sell
from- did
all
you
my
calculate
morals?
that from 46?
Yeah.
Because it's probably
Oh.
closer to like 19.
No, because that's in the
40. No, it's not during the Christmas scene.
Yeah, it is. It's the
No.
Christmas Eve.
No, it's not the Christmas Eve.
Here, it's not the Christmas Eve.
It's after it's when his kids are born. It's before the war. It's probably like 38. Or no, I think it probably could be like 40 because the Americans don't go into the war until.
Let's just
Later.
throw it in 40. Ugh. $371,700.
Jesus Christ, Potter has too much money.
Yeah.
How much is $8,000?
I mean, Potter does not reflect somebody we're all thinking about all the time, who sits in his little cage of emotion.
Yeah,
White House.
Uncle Billy lost almost $150,000 in today's money.
Can you imagine? That's like you being like, Brandon, here's this briefcase. I absolutely need you to take it to the bank, and you've done it 100 times. Okay, sure. I lost the briefcase. What? I fucking lost it.
There's $150,000.
Yeah,
Your father's-
I actually, good. George Bailey's a saint. I think I'd lose it. I think I'd fucking lose it. I'd be like, oh no, how could you? That is so much money.
Not even so much money.
That's a damn big deficit.
That's like all their money. Like as a business, I realize that they're on the skin of their teeth. They need that deposit. They're like living paycheck to paycheck as a business.
Yeah.
You can't just lose that money. We need that money. We can't be a business without that money. What's going on? Like, yeah, it's insane that he doesn't straight up just cap them.
He's like, you know what? I'm gonna kill myself, but you're coming too. You did this. You did this. All right. I'm sorry.
How much is his life insurance policy? Wasn't it $25,000?
No, I think
it was.
I think it's $5,000 because he's like, you're gonna offer me $5,000 for, or like
500.
It's 500, right?
Yeah,
Well,
no,
500 is the equity or whatever.
Yeah, if he was to,
Because Potter's like, bah, how dare you?
right,
Like,
$500. I'm Potter.
Are you running a business or a charity ward? Not with my money.
Is his name Harry Potter?
Harold F. Potter, yes.
It's literally Harry Potter.
So now we know J.K. Rowling's thoughts on It's a Wonderful
She
Life. She
actually sucks.
loves Potter.
Tracks.
Damn it. I was about to say fucking tracks.
Fucking tracks. Hilarious. He's literally Harry Potter. Dude, Harry Potter would grow up to be Mr.
He
Potter.
grows up to be like the worst dad.
I was the best wizard, so you don't get to be a wizard.
Dude, Harry Potter grows up and becomes a literal cop.
Haven't you seen
He becomes a wizard
It's
cop.
all like The Godfather. He becomes Michael Corleone, his son, because evil.
What's happening? What are we doing?
Not a whole lot.
Is it time to
Talk
get
about It's
blunt?
a Wonderful Life. We could get blunt.
Do you have more to say?
Not really. It's just a beautiful movie.
I can feel us struggling to keep it going.
It's a beautiful movie. It encapsulates everything that I love about life in a very small amount of time, and it manages to pull the more emotion out of me than life itself in a way.
Yep.
It's the most intense experience every time I return to it, no matter if I rewatch it a couple times a year or once, big screen or little. This is the most emotionally affecting movie I've ever seen, probably will ever see, and it means more to me than any other film I've ever seen, and it's basically the definition of why I love movies. So, I would vote it in the Canon.
Fucking twist. Fuck this.
4.5.
It's not chronic
I think it's
canon worthy.
okay. There are a couple things I'd change, but like I said, there was nothing I would change actually in a way, because like I said, it's imperfect in its perfection, just like life.
I agree. It's basically a perfect movie. Nothing I can say against it.
Mary!
Any movie that makes me sob is going to be one of my favorite movies, and it's a weepy baby every time. It's magical.
We were all in shambles. All three of us.
I don't get how you can't. It's the most pure-hearted movie I think ever made. Just like heart on its sleeve, not pretending to be anything else. Like wants to give you that overwhelming emotion. It's in the title. It's just trying to tell you it's a wonderful life, and this is how I'm going to prove it. And it hurts, but it's beautiful. Yeah, I agree. I co-sign everything you just fucking said. Let's put it in canon. Send it.
If this movie didn't have Potter, maybe I would be a little bit more happy.
But if you don't have anger, how do you know peace?
If
or
you
whatever?
don't have happiness,
I know,
How do you have
because he
sadness?
wishes him a Merry Christmas. Because when he realizes what his life really means, and he
Yeah.
realizes what he means to himself, he realized that Potter doesn't.
Potter drives him to succeed in some way.
Yeah, just like, no, you're wrong.
Because he's like, you know what? Fuck you. I am going to keep trying.
he's the
and
hurdle.
this is the ultimate success that you see at the end, the catharsis, if you will.
A life that I feel like most people want to obtain to some degree. whatever it means.
No,
Not even
I
just
think this just
happiness.
shows you
Total
that.
happiness.
I mean, say for I'm sorry, some sad individuals out there, but this movie shows you that the life that you already have. Like the moment this movie ended, and because there's not a single time, at least personally, but I want to say for most people that you're not putting yourself. There's not a time where you're not at least putting yourself in some instance into a movie, even if it's for specific moments or I'm not saying the whole thing, but like at the end when I see all those people rushing in for one split second, I'm like, who would that be for me? Or like, who are those people that mean so much to me? And it's like they all come flooding in, and I feel that happiness and that joy too. And I'm just like, right, I do have people in my life that love and care about me, and I love and care about them too. And sometimes, you just get used to it. You just get used to it. I literally, someone was talking about my body type, and they were inquiring about like the shape of my body, and then I looked down and I was like, I don't know, dude, I never really saw like a change. I've been looking at it for like 20 years. It's like you just get used to things, but sometimes you need to like get that outside perspective, man, and that's what I feel like It's a Wonderful Life does for me. So
show me your body, show me your heart.
Show me your body, show me your heart. People love and care about you.
Open up your heart for me in your arms.
What, you want to quote that on this episode? You really want to do that?
If I didn't, I wouldn't have.
Fair enough. Is it in?
5 stars, please put it in.
Send it.
Makes me so happy that you feel that way, Brandon.
Way ho.
You thought he was gonna hate it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you never know. You never know.
I know you were just nervous. You couldn't. You literally said,
Listen,
if we don't all like this, I'm not doing this. Yeah. And that's like literally fair though. Literally.
I was like, it would be the worst thing ever for me if we did this.
I think one of my worst nightmares is having to sit through a conversation with somebody telling me about why they don't like it. It's like, sure, you can exist, you can have that opinion, that's fine. But
I fucking guess.
I don't need to talk to you at all.
Why you exist to hurt my feelings. Do not come near me.
You're like Potter. Get out. What do you want to kill Joy?
I mean, you're talking about trolls here. You're talking about people on the internet who exist just to be terrible.
Yeah, whatever. And you know what? I love all you too because you're all human beings.
Merry Christmas!
Fuck off. I love you.
I guess. I'm perplexed. You have to know you're lying, right? Like, I don't get it. 169 people have given it a half star on Letterboxd. Like, what
blasphemy.
Like, shut up. Shut up.
Shut up.
You're not cool. You're not edgy. Nobody likes this.
Oh,
nobody likes you. Just kidding. We do.
This movie is stupid.
I don't know. I'm conflicted.
I do want to say to anybody listening, I love you all very much.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
pretty cool.
Everybody and my friends and family. I love you all so much. This time of the season really makes me feel those emotions that much stronger. And this movie accentuates those points even more. So thank you. And I love you all.
I only love
you
guys
boys
as much as you love me. I will not be exhibiting any more love in your direction than is what's received towards me. That's what I was told by George. He said, just put a little bit out there. You got to give everybody just a smidgen. And then if they don't give you back a smidgen, fuck them. Kill yourself.
Love is money. Time is luck.
I don't know if I agree with anything that's been said in the last like minute and a half. My brain's fried though. I don't know. It's
a great movie.
This movie makes my brain melt.
Yeah. There's not much better.
I hope everybody at home also loves it. If any of you guys who gave it a half star review are listening to this podcast,
shame on you.
How dare I am appalled in the episode.
Shame on you.
We're done.
We're not even doing the ending.
We're out of here.
No, come on. I'm Frank.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Brandon. We're signing off.
Merry Christmas and a happy holiday.
And a bye-bye.
Wait. What? Fuck Christmas. Oh, like, I don't know. That's how I feel in general. Fuck Christmas. I'm a fan of all the holidays if we're going to fucking do it. Like, fuck that. Fuck
I said, good. And a happy holiday.
Yeah, no fucking and. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas, I would guess. Fuck you.
And bye-bye.
And bye-bye.
And bye-bye.
Oh my fucking God.
Goodbye.